Has been highlighting the issues facing the LGBTQ community. And this morning, we share the story of Rylan Whittington. Reporter Brian Yennis has more on how the California teenager's transitioning journey is helping other families.
Oh, boy. I never
This is a Fox local. This is not Fox
Yeah, I was going to
national.
say, is it local? Okay.
This is local,
That makes
yeah.
sense.
Yeah. So, yeah, apparently that's helping other families. I guess? Let's see.
If you saw me walking down the street, you wouldn't think anything different.
14-year-old.
No, you kind of would. I mean, I don't know what else. You kind of would.
I don't know what I can say, so I'm going to be just, I'll laugh.
All right. Yeah, leave it there.
Rylan Whittington is a typical Southern California teenager. And the Whittingtons, along with mom Hillary, dad Jeff, and sister Brinley, are...
I mean, come on. The facial structure alone is enough to just, you know. You know.
Yeah.
If you know, you know. I also really like that this person is wearing the exact same shirt as the dad.
Yep.
Dad, yeah, I noticed that too.
Just a different color.
Yeah.
a typical family. The only...
That's not a typical... Whatever.
Well, and the mom and the daughter were kind of wearing the same shirt, too.
Well,
Typical family. Yeah, look at that house. Yeah, I call that typical.
Yeah, I mean,
Fuck off.
San
Yeah,
Francisco
right.
suburbs, right? They've got a water wheel, for fuck's sake, in the backyard. Like,
There's
what?
a fucking pond there. Yeah, that's typical. Yeah, we all have
Jesus
ponds and
Christ.
water wheels and massive houses. Jesus
Oh my
Christ.
God.
difference, though, in Rylan's eyes, is what this family can mean to the tens of thousands of kids under 18 who identify as transgender.
We put
The tens of thousands.
Yeah, we also all have $3,000 suits and pedo mustaches.
Right, yeah, and I think tens of thousands is, I think that's an inflation, but we will leave that alone. But I mean, what's more curious to me is just that a Fox station did this.
But it's a local one. I mean, the local, they have a lot more leeway.
Well, I know they do, but it still is strange.
our story out there so people could see that, like, there's another family out there that is going through what we're going through, or there's another family who's proud of who they are.
Before Rylan could even speak, he managed to tell his parents that he is a boy.
I could just see it. It wasn't trying to be.
Oh, wow.
Did he use sign language?
Before he could even speak, his parents decided he was a female. That's what I just heard.
Listen to the mom. Like, I could just
be a brat. It was like painful. It was truly painful for her.
yeah, because that's just only little boys are brats. That's just
I already want to punch her face.
oh my god, look at her.
Oh my God.
Just the amount of
Yeah.
Botox on that face.
I do not officially condone violence.
God.
Him to have to wear feminine clothing and for us constantly telling him that you're a girl.
And unlike
Oh god. Look at this kid. Look at how young this kid is when this happened to
This is grooming.
her. Yeah, it is.
He's just a soccer mom that wants to play into this fad just to feel relevant. That's all this is.
What's the deal with the implant in his head?
It's a cochlear implant.
Okay.
Ivor says AWFLs will destroy the United States, and he's not wrong. He says it's Munchausen by proxy. Cato said, it's always uncomfortable for me to see kids being put up to speak on these political issues. The left loves to do this, whether it's Rylan, Greta Thunberg, or David Hogg. And I just want to point out, like, this is something that Jordan Peterson has talked on, where he's like, when kids are like 18, he's like, you shouldn't be an activist. You shouldn't speak on political matters when you're 18. Like 6 years ago, you were 12. Like, what the hell do you know? You can't speak. You can't write. You haven't done anything. Like, who are you to tell people, you know, any of these things? And he's absolutely right about that.
Yeah, and I just want to ask a question. I'm not going to provide an answer, but I just want to ask this question. If this child had grown up in a different household, would he have become gay? Or I'm sorry, transgender. My bad. Whatever.
Right.
That's a good question. I've always wondered that too. when it comes to any child, when it comes to any parents that are like, oh yeah, my kid's transgender, like, what if that child was brought up in another family?
Well, I mean, if he had transitioned at a later age, in his early teens, maybe even, I'd be like, okay, maybe. But before he could even speak.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I also want to point out, Possum Friend says, I thought clothing was just harmful stereotypes, so why conform to them with surgery and hormones? So, yeah, there's that.
Mm-hmm.
Possum Friend, are you new?
No. He's been here
What?
before.
How have I not seen these people?
I'm pretty sure.
Some trans kids, when Ryland came out at age 5, a few years later.
Oh, God. A few years later, at age 5. Jesus Christ.
Can he talk when he's 5? I thought he came out before he could talk.
No,
Yeah, because you can talk at
no.
5.
She knew before
you can
he
definitely
could talk.
She
knew before he could.
No, I
she
know.
could
That's
talk.
what I
Jesus
mean.
Christ.
That's why it's so confusing.
Yeah.
No,
he
it's
had
not confusing at all.
Well,
Right.
We can see exactly what happened.
Yeah.
yeah. Well, yeah.
full support of his parents.
Initially, there was some pushback.
I mean, look at them. Of course they had full support there.
He looks way different without his pedo stash. Holy crap.
I know. It looked like a totally different person.
From us and trying to understand this.
We were confused like most people are. We thought that gender and sexuality were the same thing. It took us a while to
How could you possibly think that? Like, how could you possibly think that gender and sexuality are the same thing?
She was brainwashed into it.
Well,
That's
no,
what
I
happened.
mean, like, everybody knows those are different. I think she means gender and sex.
Yeah.
I don't think she means gender and sexuality. Those are
Right,
very,
right.
very different.
Yeah. I mean, just look at where they live.
Yeah.
That kind of tells part of the picture, at least.
Right. San Francisco, yeah.
figure out that those two things are different and that children actually do recognize their gender identity very young. Some of them, not
No, not really. They don't.
My
they don't
son
think
is
about
8
that.
and has never mentioned, like, one
Yeah.
way or the other, what is like, that's, I don't think that's something that he thinks
No,
about.
it's something that you're taught about for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, if you ask, are you a boy or a girl? I'm a boy.
Right. Well,
But he-
why
but he
would
doesn't
you
really
ever
have much
ask
to
him
say
that
beyond-
question?
Well, you wouldn't.
Right.
Well, you wouldn't. Oh, are you a boy or a girl? No, you'd never ask that. I'm just saying, like, he understands that he's a boy, but he doesn't, like, that's not something that you would talk about. That's not something he ever brings up by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah.
But he's also never, this is why I asked if that kid grew up in a different household,
Yeah. How could you? Yeah. Exactly.
at all.
But they listened to Rylan and to Hillary's conservative faith.
For me, it's just a deep spiritual belief that you believe in God and He, created us the way He wanted us. Well, then yes, He created Rylan.
So we change. Exactly.
That's why this is on Fox, because she's a conservative.
she's a conservative Christian.
Oh
Yeah.
my
Yep.
God.
There you go.
Supposedly.
Just the way He is.
And they listened to families. They met in support groups.
There was a
Oh, and of course they're playing catch because that's what you do, right?
Yeah.
Wait, outside a motel. What? What?
Yeah, that's not their house.
Why are they at a what? That's
don't
really weird. Okay.
father who was sitting across the table. He says, "You have no idea how lucky you are to be here," which kind of took me back. I didn't at that point consider.
No, took you aback. Not took you back.
Took you back.
That's-
Took you
that's
back to what?
It's
Yeah.
very different. Oh my God.
myself lucky to be there. And he said, our child had displayed this gender dysphoria or this gender misalignment at the same age that Rylan has, and we didn't listen and we pushed back.
That pushback
Oh Christ. We wish that we would have. Oh God. I mean, I can't even say it. It's just like it's so ludicrous.
Well, I wonder if their child was just interested in boy stuff, like they were playing catch. So
Right,
maybe
yeah.
automatically must be a boy. It can't be that the fact that, hey, it's a girl that wants to play catch with her dad.
Right. If you have a kid that can't talk, because that's the age they're saying, and you think that they're exhibiting gender dysphoria, I think you maybe need to chill out for a while. Like just maybe.
Yeah,
just
that
maybe
says
just
more
chill out.
about you than it does the child.
Right,
Because a
that-
child
'cause
at
you're
5
reading
years
into
old
it.
has absolutely no conception
Right.
of what male versus female really
Like
means.
what that means. Yeah, that's true.
Do they maybe understand that there is a difference? Sure. But nothing
I
beyond
have
that. Sorry.
I had to have speech therapy when I was 4 and 5 years old. I mean,
Yeah.
gender was nothing on my parents' mind when it comes to that. They're like, hey, teach this bitch how to talk right.
Right.
Like-
Well, and I just want to point out, Yuzu just said tomboys ... exist. Yeah. Exactly.
Yes. Yep. I was one of them.
Yeah,
Led
and they
that
don't always
child
turn out gay or transgender.
Well, they almost always don't.
to turn to
Right.
self-harm as a teenager, which 60% of trans and non-binary kids in
Oh, Jesus Christ.
So doesn't that say something about? Maybe I shouldn't bring this up. Doesn't that say something about that whole idea? Then, just saying. Like, is there a correlation there? Maybe, maybe not.
Well,
I don't know.
Mental disorder? Yes, I mean, yes, definitely.
I am not going to say that on your YouTube channel.
Well, I mean, dysphoria is definitely a mental disorder. Everybody knows that. That's not
Yeah, it
controversial in the
is.
slightest.
Okay.
Yeah.
engage in, according to the Trevor Project. More than 50% consider suicide.
That for me was the turning point. I didn't want to see Ryland go through that.
I'd rather have a living son than a dead daughter. And I guarantee that if we had pushed back and done
Oh my God. What? Okay, never mind. We're just going on.
There's so many things I could say
You
right
know?
now, but I'm just going to not.
what a
Because I
lot of
don't know.
parents do, I don't think that we would have either one of the kids that you see before you here today.
Allowing him to live authentically and true to himself.
I just want to say, why did they choose the... Never mind, that's way too messed up. I'm not even saying that. Anyways. I was going to comment on the looks of the two kids, but that's messed up. So
Yeah.
And be who he really feels like he is. When you get to know Ryland, you see just how proud and confident he is of himself.
Ryland's story got international attention in 2014 when a family YouTube video went viral, and Hillary has since written a book called Raising Ryland.
Oh, this is why this is
Oh.
happening.
Yeah.
This makes
So now
much
she's
more
making money
sense.
off him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
This makes much more sense.
Yep.
I just want to add something too. I really hate the whole suicide argument. So, for an example, if somebody who says, if you don't acknowledge my existence, I am literally going to end it.
No,
To me,
no,
that's just
no. It's not even that. Hold on, real quick. I'll let you finish. But it's not if you don't acknowledge my existence. It's if you don't validate my my self-image.
Right, exactly. And so to me, that's kind of like the crazy ex that's like, hey, if you don't take me back, I'm going to end it. I really hate that argument so much, and I hate it when people try to use that and play heartstrings and all that stuff.
Right, and I also want to
It
point
just-
out
it
that
bugs me
it
so
gets
much.
worse after surgery. The suicide rate is higher
Right,
after
yep.
surgery.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
I never thought that I would be known for this, like, as well as I am, but really it's just a small part of who I am.
He's just brushed things off his shoulders, like it's fine. He moves on in his life, and he's just kind of, I think everything we've been through, he's just like learned to do that, and he's really good at it. I could never do that.
The Whittingtons believe sharing their story could
Oh my God, I just don't care. I mean, I care to the extent that, like, this is really messed up that it happened, but, like, the story itself, like, why is this being run? Why is this news? No one is inspired by this. Not a single person.
I wonder if this is their backyard too.
I don't know. Maybe they have, like, 9 backyards.
make a lasting difference in another child's life, something they learned from that support group father nearly a decade ago.
I'm just here to make the ride smoother for others.
Oh my God, shut up. Just seriously, just shut up. You remember that old saying that children should be seen and not heard? I think like maybe everybody under 25. That should be the rule for them.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't personally think that. I think that
I'm being facetious, but yeah.
Yeah, I know you are. Yeah, I know. I get that. I mean, like a lot of this just seems to me like we don't know what his childhood was like. We don't really know what his parents are
Right.
like. We get this little snapshot in a 4-minute piece, right? We don't know what the rest of those many hours and days and years were like.
Yeah, for sure.
If he genuinely, and this is what I want to point out, I am not saying that people don't come to realize that they want to be what's the correct assigned gender? Is that the correct way to say it?
Yeah.
Okay, you're assigned gender. That's fine. I'm only criticizing that it happened so young, because if that was in their mind at 5 years old, at 6, at 7, at 8, at 10, like that, to me, that is pointing to there are some issues. I don't know what those issues are, and I never particularly dealt with them, so I don't want to speak too much on it, but there's something wrong there. Like, I'm raising a child. It's just not something he thinks about. He doesn't care. He likes dinosaurs and sea animals and planets. Like, that's what he's talking about. And building robots and riding his four-wheeler. Like, that's what he likes to do.
Well, and that's what it should be. Like, this shouldn't be a focus of children.
Yeah, and I just want to point out, like, if later on he decides that he's like, yeah, I'm just not, I want to be, I'd love him just the same. I don't really care. But if, I just can't imagine him at 5 or 6 or 7 or whatever saying, oh, I think I'm a female. And if he,
that's
like, I can't even imagine that was something that he would even be thinking about. That is so hard for me to, like, process. And that she knew when he was 5. That, to me, was the most telling statement in this 4-minute video. Was that.
And before she could talk.
Yeah.
Before,
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.